Joining us to discuss more is Dr. Asaf Ramirovsky, the Executive Director of Scholars for Peace in the Middle East. Here we have 3 days to go from fitness to hate speech. What is going on here, and how exactly can this be prevented on social media?
Well, look, thank you as always for having me. What we have here is a process of the normalization of anti-Semitism using every social media apparatus. I mean, we live in an age of infotainment, and everybody is triggered by what they believe to be this ecosystem of anti-Semitism. This is part of the backlash and the background that really that allowed for what you're seeing today, politically speaking, and the toxicity in the United States as it relates to the kind of candidates that are being elected. You know, but where anti-Semitism is part and parcel of the progressive circles and the Democratic Party at large. But this whole idea here that what we saw here, similar images to during the encampments at the beginning of 10/7, this continues to flourish. And it doesn't take much, as you can see here, to trigger. We saw similar kind of images leading up to the Israel Day Parade in New York. All of this is happening on an instant gratification. And the bottom line is that facts don't matter. And I think that that's really the bottom line. We need to be responsible by the way we're using these platforms and to have actual context, because none of this exists. And the fact that really the influencers are the one who are driving these narratives, which have no context whatsoever, illustrated again recently by the now blood libel article that came out of Nicholas Kristof in the New York Times with all those kind of anti-Semitic tropes that are flourishing all over the place. So it goes faster and rapidly on social media, and people are acting upon it, which is really the main concern, and acting with violent ways, as you just showed from your clip, in New York.
So what can users do then to be responsible if they're showing some of this footage? They don't know if it's real, if it's fake. What can they do to be more of a responsible user?
Well, look, I think that context matters, information matters. There's not one source that can give you the answer to everything. I mean, it also behooves the companies themselves. I mean, I think we have to talk about the responsibility of Meta and other social media outlets as it relates to their responsibility for erasing hate and discrimination on these platforms, which is being amplified by their own systems at large, and eradicating them. We saw similar concerns right after 10/7 in the way TikTok was being abused in order to aggrandize the Hamas propaganda. The opposition is there working 24/7. Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood have a massive apparatus in the United States and in Europe at large, and they're using it and abusing it, and they're the ones impacting the younger generation, which really buys into it and believes it, hook, line, and sinker. So that's a concern, really, as far as us to start with the companies themselves, starts in the home as well, starts with the educational institutions, as far as putting in actual checks and balances as far as what is actually real and what is propaganda. And that's quite a Sisyphean task to handle this mass apparatus when everybody's living online and living on and using their phones to dictate how they do business, where and when.
A major task, but the first step is just talking about it. Dr. Asaf Ramirovsky, it's great to have you with us on I-24 News to discuss this important topic. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, as always.
Well, before we go out for a break, a historic first for the Israeli military. The IDF says a female combat